Good morning, everybody. So it is Saturday morning. Just got done filming that another incredible sunrise. So we'll do something a little different today, and I'm waiting for this fog to clear. I'm gonna look around in this area. If I don't find anything shortly, I'm gonna power up and go where I wanted to. This fog's starting to get out of here now. It was so thick this morning, it wasn't safe to go running around in it. So that's fish right there. A couple on the bottom. So I'm out looking around. So you can see my boat cursor right here. So I've got my screen. For me, my map screen is, I usually am in the distances. So down here you see the range. It's at 500 feet. And I can see the drop off over here that I'm mirroring, looking for these fish, and I'll work in a search grid back and forth through here between where I am and the drop off. And somewhere in there I'll find a school. And it literally is driving around until I find them. Now up here, so this unit, this is a 9-inch Garmin, and that down there is a 7-inch Garmin. And this is my setup all the time. So that one down there is always the map. I'm the map. And then this up here, this is search mode for me. So I have my side scan set out to 100 feet on each side. So I'm scanning a 200-foot wide radius right now. So there's a walleye, there's a fish right there. A couple abnormalities out here on the bottom. That could be a fish, could be a piece of debris. So this is showing me 200 feet on both sides of me, 100 on each side. So I'm scanning down here. I'm scanning 200 feet in 500-foot scale. And then this screen is your traditional 4-color sonar, and this for me is in full water column, which means it's set to where it's looking from surface to the bottom in one continuous screen. And then this screen right here, this is my 2D down scan. And when I'm walleye fishing, they relate, or smallmouth too, they relate to the bottom. 99% of the time with the ones you're looking for, and I'm jigging. So I'm not looking for fish that are suspended up here that I'm gonna troll to with crankbaits. I'm looking for the bottom 5 feet of this water column. So this is just a zoomed in 2D down scan version of this, the bottom 5 feet only. So that's when I start to see, oh, I see a fish there. Well, it matches up, and I run them in unison. And then once I would get to a drift, because when I'm drifting sideways, your side scan's not doing anything for you. You got to be moving in a straight line, so it's shooting off each side correctly, and it doesn't reflect over. It's a long story, but once I get to my drift, then I go to my other preset screen, and this is full water column, traditional 4-color sonar on top, and down below it is 2D sonar zoomed in to the bottom 5 feet. So I'm looking for multiple targets, and you'll see them clear as a bell as soon as we do see something with good separation. Now, see how I don't see that down here? That's because whatever that is, a school of perch, I could be off the edge of any predator fish off bait. That's up higher in the water column. That's up here where it's not showing in that bottom 5 feet. Like I say, that's just because I'm predominantly walleye fishing and I want to know, I want to be zoomed in and see exactly what kind of definition there is on the bottom. It's not uncommon to see 8 or 10 in a little wolf pack, and you'll see individual countable marks on this lower screen. If I can just find some fish. Getting shallow. I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna go to the right of this structure, because where I originally wanted to go was farther down east, in deeper water. So I'm gonna finish this segment, but I'm hoping that the fish cooperate and show me a couple, because then I can go through how I set up on them, and how we orientate the boat to the fish you just marked, and how do you get back above them and drift right back over them. So we'll do that at some point. We have fish here on the bottom, but I'm getting a weak return off the bottom unit. So either they're out on the edge, but that's definitely fish right there. Could be, yeah. What it is what it is. We'll go back, fish for them, and then find out. But you can see by my marks on the green off the edge of that island, this is a good drift for me. So there could absolutely, there's always out here in these flats. That's the thing. That's the one thing. That's the one tip I'll tell you. There's your pro tip of the day. Brought to you by Starcraft Marine, Krenzer's, Soda's Point. That was my DJ, my FM radio DJ voice. Anyway, God, look at that shot right there. I'm gonna give this just a slight bit more. If I don't see anything here, I would have probably got out of here by now if I wasn't recording. But what I was going to say is, in these big open flat areas of this lake, I'm not talking about Shackleton Shoals, because that's so much structure in there. That's the opposite, and sometimes finding fish in there can be more difficult. Out in these big flats, you have got to drive around, because you see that bottom, it's flat. There's nothing out here. If you find an odd little hump here or there, you mark it on your screen, and you can go back, and it'll usually hold fish, because it's an anomaly amongst the sea of sameness. And a lot of times in fishing, fish find those anomalies. But out here in these flats, they're roaming around looking for lunch. And you got to find them, or you got to find lunch, either way, before you start. Because if you just start fishing water, that's all you're doing. Captain Tony Buffa famously says, I won't fish a bare screen. Well, there's a reason for that. There's a reason that, that's why he's the legend. All right, I'm going to run to the next spot, and we'll start looking there. What is up, everybody? Good morning. Happy Saturday. We're going to do something new today. I just came up with it this morning, all right? So you're going to bear with me. Here's the thing. I had a comment on YouTube the other day. It was kind of like a stay in your lane comment. I understood it. It was very nice. I didn't take offense to it in any way, but the guy said, Matt, you're saying it's the morning fishing report, but you're talking about, other stuff. So, he was absolutely right, and I was guilty of false advertising, all right? So, I'm changing the format and the name to Matt's Morning Show, because Matt is up every morning, and I'm fishing every morning, but it's going to be more than it like it always is, but I'm going to just rebrand it in the respect that now it's going to just, now you know what you're in for. Because there's always going to be fishing. But it's not just fishing. Ha-ha. I just had my first walleye of the morning just before I turned the camera on. I've been all over the place this morning. It's 10:45. And the morning has kind of flown by. And that was my first fish. And I came back to a spot on my way back west. I came back to a spot I've been on all summer long. Oddly enough. Doing the same thing. Dragging a crawbait through the rocks. And he thunk thunk. Why? He grabbed it. So we're going to do things different. This is going to be Matt's morning show from now on. That's what I'm calling it. And we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. Near and far. You know, I'm a Central New Yorker. Oh, don't do it. Well, I'll do it. Go right ahead and do it. No. I'm a Central New Yorker for those of you, joining in for the first time. So we'll talk about stuff from the area. We'll talk about, local, national, sports, whatever. There will come a time where I'll start having guests. I always have friends fishing with me. Who knows? We may have other people show up as a guest in the morning. But that's going to be the thing. You got to get your ass out of bed if you want to come out and talk and be on the show. This is Matt's morning show, Sunrise Edition. That's my hippie name. My wife laughs at me all the time. My hippie name is Sunrise. I told her if I could pick my own name, that's what my first name would be. It's funny. I'm all focused in right now. All I'm doing is I've got a 3/8 ounce football head on, tungsten football head, with I think this is a Rapala Crush City crayfish. And I'm casting it out, it's hitting the bottom, and I'm retrieving it just fast enough that I'm keeping contact with the bottom. So I feel it going dunk, 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 dunk along. And one of those, dunk, it like that, and I'm drifting up onto the head of this shoal on the windward side. And my first drift in, I got to about the sweet spot has been all summer long, that 13 to 15 foot right in there. But it's all good rock in here, no weed or anything. It's all good rock in the smallmouth, the sheep's head. Everybody lives in here because there's crayfish in here. So we're just scooting one along the bottom and keeping it moving. I'm not finesse fishing it. I'm bumping it along the bottom. Bonk, bonk, bonk. You're calling their attention to it, really. And any of the three will come over and just smack it. And I'm in 19 right now. I'm a little bit on the deeper side. And you can throw a blade in here too, easily. And also, I'm out here in mid-lake. And I've been around mid-lake all morning all the way to Shackleton. And water temp out in the main lake is 55.3. In the west end, coming out of the river this morning, it was 52.5. So these warm days, these last 3 days, 2 days, these nice warm days have counteracted the cold night. And so that that surface temp is starting to level out a little bit and stay instead of that, because we were on a pretty daily drop, a degree a day. Got a little bit of an east wind today. Perfect chop, really. I have no bag or anything out, and I'm doing between 0.5 and 0.7. So now you see me moving the rod a lot. That's because there's some big rocks down there, and you can tell because when that jig head hits it, it really thunks or it wants to stick. So you kind of bumping it through those rocks, but it's also telling you that there's more of them. Like a little pile, and typically that's the area where that's going to get bit when there's a little bit of a pile of them or some bigger ones, because those bigger ones give crayfish room to give underneath them or around the edges, underneath cover, and that's why these things are there. So it's a pretty simple, straightforward setup. Like I say, it's not even really finesse fishing. I'm fishing 12-pound test leader, about 7 foot long, so they don't really see it. But it's a reaction bite. I mean, this is as bouncing as it's hitting that and bouncing through there. We're just coming up on the edge. I'm in 17 right now. And there's some sand, there's some rock. You're just dragging it along bottom, and something's going to come along and pick it up. All right. So in our first Matt's Morning Show special feature, sports update. The Yankees win. What a game last night. Although I'll tell you, I haven't even watched the highlights yet, and I fell asleep last night in the probably 7th inning. So when I fell asleep, it was 6-2. It was after that 3-run shot. And the score ended up, what did I see, 9-8, 8-7, whatever. It was 1 run. Cleveland came back and tied it, 8-6. Cleveland come back and tied it, and then the Yankees pulled ahead in the 9th inning. So I will see the highlights when I get home. But I know they won. The other series, I know the Mets are in dire straits. Last I saw, that series was 3-1. And I'd like to see the Dodgers and the Yankees in the World Series. I think that'd be a pretty cool World Series. I'm not a Dodgers fan in any way, shape, or form, whether they were the Brooklyn Dodgers or the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm a Yankees fan through and through. I get that from my grandmother. My grandmother was a diehard Yankees fan till the day she died. But that mid to late 70s Yankees dynasty was her favorite, and I was just a little kid in those days, so I lived with them, quite often, and it was on every night in the summertime. You'd swim in the pool all day long at grandma's, and you'd watch the Yankee game at night. That was very typical of my grandmother's house. So all those great teams with Reggie and Chambliss and Nettles and Dent, and then the list goes on and on. Gossage and Hunter and man. And then I grew up with, Winfield and Reggie Jackson too, Dave Winfield. When Ricky Henderson played, of course, and then for my age, that Yankees dynasty with Mariano and Andy Pettitte and my all-time favorite Jeter. I am a Jeter fan through and through. All those guys. Posada. Bernie Williams. Love Bernie Williams. So those guys, I used to listen or watch every single game in those years in the summertime. It's incredible. Incredible team. So, and I'd like to see that kid Gil, I really was happy to see, even though they came out to the mound 2 or 3 times in that one inning to talk to him, it seemed like it calmed him down, and it was nice to see him bear down. And listen, you want to be a Yankee legend, you got to perform, you got to deliver in the clutch, and the clutch is October. And all those Yankee legends I just mentioned about the last group or the ones before, those guys delivered in the clutch in October, and they live forever in Monument Park. And again, Aaron Judge, he has certainly turned it around, and I expect big things from him. And Giancarlo is ageless. He just swings that bat. He stands up so straight like this, and he just goes flick, boom, and off it goes. It's insane, actually. I've enjoyed watching these guys here this week, and really seeing the team and see how they perform in the big spots, and I think everyone's done pretty well, and I think our pitching is better than I expected it to be. And again, I have not been a daily watcher in many years, but it's playoffs, baby, and we're getting ready to go to the World Series, and I'm all in. So my NFL team is the Dolphins. I'm a Dolphins fan since I was a kid. Huge Dan Marino fan. And I don't know what we're doing in Miami. This kid Tua seems like he's an extremely nice young man, and maybe has a future in coaching. And I don't know what his plans are. From the sounds of it, he's going to continue to play. But he worries me. You know, your health and well-being. I understand the money has got to be insane and the pressure, but man, to see him laying on the ground convulsing a couple years ago against Buffalo, and then this year against Buffalo, man, it's alarming. It's alarming to watch. It's a contact sport. I played it, you know, in high school. Many of us did. Don't cross your tips. I'm right on the edge of this. I thought I'd get bit already. But yeah, so being a Dolphins fan has been a lifelong curse. So we assemble this great offense, and then all of a sudden our quarterback can't seem to stay healthy to run it. And even when he is running it, we can't seem to win the big game. So, you know, that's my. Although I love the NFL, I watch a lot of NFL. And we'll talk about all kinds of teams in the NFL. And listen, for Matt's morning show, sports is going to be a big part of it. You know, outdoor sports, hunting season. I was telling my wife last night, I saw a Facebook memory pop up from 9 years ago, from 2015, from yesterday on October 18th, and it was. I was bow hunting, sitting in the tree stand, and there was snow on the ground on October 18th. I don't think we'll have snow on the ground by November 18th. We'll see. It's going to be another... Listen, weather prognostication and general discussion of weather will also be, I would assume, a pretty daily segment in Matt's Morning Show, which you're tuned into right now. Oh! There was a rock. And I'm going to do my... I don't... It's funny. We're only a couple weeks away from the election, and I don't really want to talk about politics per se, because I'll premise anything you ever hear me say about politics, and with the one exclaimer is I don't believe either side. So that's where we start with any political conversation. I don't believe any of them. I think they're all on the take in some way or another, and I don't think they have our best interest in mind, and they are servants of us. They are, in the truest essence of the word, government servants, not dictators, not not all powerful, not any of that stuff. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine this morning, who's a fellow deadhead, is me. Music will be a continual topic as well. He's a deadhead like I am, and we were talking about one of the beauties of Jerry Garcia during his lifetime was he was not a preach to people kind of person. He would never tell somebody what to do. Probably if they were on fire, I don't think he would tell them to roll around. He just didn't do that. He didn't tell people what to do, what to think, what to feel, nothing. You do you, and he will do him, and that's the way he always. Every interview I've ever seen, and I've watched almost all of them, just because of my appreciation for him musically, and I've never seen him do anything to the contrary. And so, politically, I'll have discussions about anything, but you'll never hear from me. Just like when it comes to the fishing stuff, and I say to you all the time, this is just how I do it. There is 1,000 ways and places and to catch a fish, whether it's a walleye or anything else. And the minute somebody tells you this is the only way you can do it, you got to be leery of that. No different than, like I say, I don't believe either side in politics. Listen, fishermen are the original liars. Oh, it was this big when it was this big, I only tell you what my years of experience has taught me, and I pass that on because I enjoy it. I enjoy the teaching aspect of what I do. My grandmother said years and years and years ago in my life that I should have been a teacher. Well, I am a teacher. This is what I teach. But I was a terrible student because I easily get bored. Sometimes that is my enemy, and sometimes it's my greatest strength. A creative, nimble mind is wonderful. A mind that can't focus and is easily distracted is not. But I also want to have fun. That's really my number one priority in all this. So Matt's morning show allows me to do whatever I want. And what I really want is for all you guys to join in. And listen, this is going to be thoughts of the day, random thoughts, guy stuff. Listen, the ladies are welcome to join us. We're not exclusive or anything like that, but I'm a guy talking to mostly guys, so we talk about guy stuff. Simple, right? Simple yet effective. So easy. You'll never have white or whites. So yeah, I want to have fun. And this is going to allow me to do that. It's no different than when I started writing. I wrote half of one book, and then I stopped because I was trying to write nonfiction, like a self-help type genre book, but not really self-help in the respect of telling people a way to do something. It was more, my idea was more opening people up to ideas that maybe they'd never thought of before. And I was going to reuse it and relate it to fishing and different fishing metaphors and stuff like that, but it was tough because I couldn't get the points across that I wanted while being based in nonfiction. And so I said, well, I'm going to switch to fiction because then I don't have to worry about the truth. I just have to tell the story, and I make the story so it works. Well, that's kind of the same way. This allows me now to to do the fishing report. And we, like I say, I'm out here fishing. So it's always going to be fishing related. And when I have guests on the show, they're going to be out here fishing with me. And so there'll be someone standing back there or someone standing up there or both places, you know, and who knows? Who knows where something can go? Nobody knows. Okay, talking about music. A week from today, downtown at the Middle Ages Brewery is Dark Halloween. And Courtney and I went last year. My wife doesn't love the Grateful Dead in any way, shape, or form. She goes to these things because I want to go, and so she comes with me. But she's not into the music. Oh, once in a while, you'll see her tapping her toe at something she recognizes. But she doesn't listen to it. That's not her thing. Anyway, we're going to go. And Middle Ages, the beer hall upstairs in the auditorium is really beautiful. Very beautiful. And it's... obviously, they have excellent beer. The acoustics are amazing. And Dark Hollow does such a great job. For those of us in the greater Syracuse area, we're fortunate, if you're a Deadhead, to have such a great Dead tribute band locally. And I see them 3 to 6 times a year, and they're excellent. And another one, the two that's coming sometime in November I think they're coming to the Capitol Theater in Rome, is Dark Star Orchestra, DSO. I have seen them for years and years. I've seen them many times all over the East Coast. They are outstanding. The level of musicianship that band has is just off the charts. And they play it so well and so passionately. Courtney and I have spent many a beautiful summer evening listening to them all over upstate New York. So get your tickets for next Saturday. Dark Hollow, local guys. They're all Syracuse guys. They've been doing it for 20 years now. And they're fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I love those guys. Like I say, we're fortunate to have that here. Let's see, what else? Walleye Fest updates, as always. Walleye Fest updates. I spoke with the designers. We're still waiting. They're doing what they're doing. It takes the time that it takes. So I do have quite a group of people that have volunteered to be test anglers in a couple mock tournaments. So we start getting our kinks worked out. Certainly next year's Walleye Fest is the first weekend in May. I don't know what the dates are next year. It's going to be earlier. Last year was the 4th and 5th. Maybe it's the 2nd and 3rd. I'm not sure. But yeah, we're looking forward to that. Already planning in the works for the 2025 version. Last year was so much fun. Stressful. And we had some technical problems, which is why we've worked hard, extremely hard, in the off season to get that under control. And we've actually, it's not just under control. We've reinvented, and we've built a whole new app that is Walleye Fest only. And it's going to be the platform we use for all of our fish entry. It's really amazing. The designers, and if you were at the Walleye Fest awards ceremony last year after the Derby on Sunday, you met the two of them. They flew in. Great young guys, extremely talented. It's amazing what the product they're delivering to us. So we're going to be on cutting edge technology that is user friendly. That's the key here. User friendly. I told them after last year's Derby, I pulled them aside and I congratulated them because we did a lot in a short amount of time. and I thought it was fantastic. But we learned a lot too. How can you not? That's the point of life, right? You learn as you go. 26 minutes. So Matt's morning show is however long Matt wants it on that particular day. But I don't want to go over 30 minutes, so we'll make this last cast. Yeah, I said to him, I said, I don't care what we do or how we do it, but it's got to be simple and easy to use. And so everybody is on the same page. We do everything we can do to eliminate any kind of cheating or foul play, and we make it simple. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, simple. That's the KISS principle. Finish up with a silver blade. No takers on it today. I've been fishing it since the sun came up. Oh, today's episode of Matt's Morning Show, sponsored by Cold Snap. I have an unboxing video with this new suit. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. Chad Cummings, you see Chad commented on yesterday's. Chad's the owner of Cold Snap. This is their 4-season, 4-in-1 suit. Oh, I just made another cast. I got time. We're at 28 minutes. Chad sent me this suit to demo for him, to show all of you. Winter's coming. Boy, so far. And the heavy dutiness feel of this garment, it kind of feels like the fabric feels very similar to like a breathable wader. It's got a full zip-in lining, bottom for the bibs and for the jacket. It's amazing. So far so good. I've got just the soft shell on right here and a hoodie and a t-shirt. And it was 36 degrees this morning when I came out. It's warmer now. So check out our sponsor today. I'm sure I'll have a discount code for my viewers here very, very quickly from Chad from Cold Snap. So stay tuned for that. But this stuff is out of the world. They've really, it's a sportsman designing it for sportsmen. That's the key. Chad's on the JT Pro staff. He's a lifelong fisherman. He's extremely accomplished angler, and he designed it from that perspective. That's how you get quality in things. Someone designing it that has the wherewithal to be able to do it. 30 seconds left. Thanks for joining me on the first ever episode of Matt's Morning Show. Stay tuned tomorrow because we'll be fishing somewhere. Keep your tip up. Thanks for joining me.